because when we done Bowie 3, that was something where he helped a lot because he helped my brand kind of get kick-started.
Yeah.
And my name, he helped it get pushed out off the back of that song. And then obviously when we've done more and more songs, it had like more of a partnership vibe to it, where we did so many songs together.
Hi, welcome to Producer Spot UK. I'm your host, Miss Jules, and today we have a special guest. His name is Maniac. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm excited, to interview you because I feel like you are one of the top music producers in the UK, and even I can say internationally because your beats went viral abroad also in the States. Because I saw the 38 challenge.
Oh yeah.
And I saw bare people from around the world like rapping on it. So I feel like you out there. You also produce for artists like Wiley, Tinchey Stryder, Headie One, Tracey, and recently with K.O. Homerton. That song is a banger, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah. And yeah, you wanna introduce yourself?
Yeah, cool. My name is Maniac. I'm a music producer from East London, sound engineer as well. I wouldn't say I've got a genre that I specialize in, but in recent times it's been like rap, trap, drill that I've been doing. Drill in lesser amounts, but yeah, I'd say I'm just a versatile producer, really. And yeah, I'll run my own studio.
And basically I just go between the two things. I juggle my studio and my production. And yeah, that's it still. That's me.
Oh, you got your own studio? Okay. So I saw you've been producing for time, like since a young age. You was doing grime.
Yeah.
And when I was doing my research, I saw that you kind of like started producing Wiley and Tinchey Stryder. So I wanted to know like how that connection happened.
For each of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, basically for Wiley, I was about 15 or something, and there's an artist that's from my area where I grew up called Bo, and the artist is called God's Gift, and basically, because he lived nearby me, I used to show him all the beats I would make, because obviously he was an artist that like I looked up to, I respected a lot in it. So I would show him my beats. I'd bring like literally burn CDs and that of my beats, bring them to him. He'd like say what he thought of them and that. Every now and then Wiley would also go to his house and then be listening to the beats and that. So through that's how I met Wiley first.
Okay.
And then we did a song called Bowie 3 together. That was about a year later, maybe. And then obviously, yeah, we continued working with each other from that. But Tinchey, it's kind of the same thing. Like, he's from my area as well. Not from the same side, but
yeah,
quite nearby. And I would see him every now and then because he's like a few years older than me, but our friendship circles would like sometimes cross over kind of thing, and I'd see him like around the area and that. And then eventually we got to working with each other, did like quite a few songs together, and then we did a little project together. But literally, if it wasn't from me being from where I'm from, I wouldn't have had that connection with them two artists in particular.
So it's like, so what, like they were like your first like big artists, like at that age, like. So for you,
yeah, I'd say so. Other than that, it was probably just Chip that I'd worked with around that time.
Okay.
That was probably, you can consider a big artist. Because it was all around the same kind of period that I was working with them. But yeah, name wise, Wiley and Tinchey, yeah, they were like up there with the strongest still that I was working with.
I saw like an interview. I think you was around that age, like maybe 15 or something. And the interviewer was saying like if you would produce like any like a different genre, and you was like, no, right now just grime, like just stick to grime, and and how like so right now you're doing different things like trap, drill, rap, hip hop. So what make you like just change the?
I think the levels just went down in that genre. To be honest, though, like, I stopped liking it. I stopped listening to it, and I stopped liking it. Basically, I can't really make something that I don't listen to, or don't like, or don't feel inspired by. I'm not saying all grime I dislike.
Yeah.
There's some that I would like. But in general, I feel like the level dropped past a certain point in it, past a certain period of time. And I think other genres sonically was outperforming them. That's how I feel about that. Not to get at anyone that's doing grime, but I just feel like what I grew up on was of such a standard that it's probably hard to maintain that standard like consistently. Whereas if you look at the genres outside of grime right now, I feel like they're outperforming it like across the board, innit?
Yeah.
Not that has anything to do with you, to do with it being good or not, but I feel like sonically, the answers are just there. Like if you look at the level of music that's coming from grime right now, I don't think it really holds up. Not to be all nostalgic and that, I don't think it stands up with the level of music.
Yeah.
That was coming out of the genre then. And obviously, I've got people that I grew up listening to, both artists and producers, and that level of artists, I don't think is around right now.
Yeah.
In that genre. So obviously, it makes it a bit tricky to like listen to it. I'll be forcing it.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean because it's like music evolves, you know, and there's periods for everything. Like you can't keep doing the same when there's new things coming also, you know, like drill. And everybody right now is about drill. So I feel you. So how old was you when you started producing?
I was about 14 or so. I'd made my first beat when I was about 12.
Wow.
But I never had a computer then. That was because my brother took me to a studio that his friend had. And then I made a beat there. Didn't make another beat until I got a computer, basically, which was when I was about 14. And then I was basically just like playing around and just like remaking songs that already existed. Like just trial and error, just like messing about on the program, basically. And then gradually I got better.
What software was using back then?
The first thing I ever had was Magic's Music Maker. I don't even know if that's still out there right now. Like,
I don't even know.
Most people have never heard of it. It was called Magic's Music Maker. It's not really much of a program, but it was something.
It was doing the job. You know?
Yeah, and then after that, I had Reason. I didn't really like that, but it was cool. It was better than Magic's Music Maker. And then after that, I had FL Studio Fruity Loops. And then basically, I just never came off that.
So that's FL is what you're using.
FL's what I
like
use
right now.
Yeah, up until today.
Okay. Well, have you ever like? So basically, you never use like maybe Logic or?
No, because I've never had a Mac. I've got a Mac in my studio to record and that, but I wouldn't make beats on a Mac. I wouldn't make beats on Logic. Sorry.
Okay.
I've made beats on Logic, but it's not something that it's not anything I would really go to.
Yeah,
it's kind of long, like mastering a whole new program and that is long.
Yeah, definitely. Because when I started producing, I started with Logic. Now I'm learning with Cubase, and Cubase is, I don't know, it's mad, you know. But I feel like it's good, you know, also at the same time. Well, yeah, I hear you. Yeah, man. you know when you like basically you said like you started with Wiley, no? Wiley and Tinchey, like basically do you feel like they open the doors for you in the industry?
Yeah, I'll say Wiley more so, because that was earlier in my production career. He was probably he was the first big artist that I'd worked with, because I was 16, so other 16-year-old producers there wasn't many at the time, and then if there was 16-year-old producers, they wasn't really working with artists like that. So I would say, yeah, like it was him that gave my name more strength as a producer, because yeah, he was the biggest artist that I'd worked with at that point, and he was a big artist at that time. So like he was he was probably the figurehead.
Yeah, he was the godfather, no?
Yeah, trust me. So he was definitely key. I wouldn't say he's the only part, because obviously I was working with quite a few people, but in terms of being like the major push, he was definitely that. Because when we done Bowie 3, that was something where he helped a lot, because he helped my brand kind of get kick-started.
Yeah.
And my name, he helped it get pushed out off the back of that song. And then obviously where we've done more and more songs, it had like more of a partnership vibe to it, where we did so many songs together. So that definitely helped a lot.
So like for the younger people that is watching us, like, you know, like you was like 15, 16. So how did you manage the royalties or the business side of the music? Like, do you know about the music industry, like how it works?
Did I know about it then?
Yeah.
Not really. I didn't really know anything about the music industry then. I was just trying to make beats and cut through. I wasn't even thinking about like the industry or royalties and all that. When I done certain songs then, I didn't even have like PRS or anything like that.
Okay.
Literally around that time, that's when I got it, because I started to get shown about it. People would say to me, "Oh, do you know about PRS?" Blah blah blah. And then I think the label that was involved in the Bowie 3 song, Big Dada, someone from them, I can't remember who it was. Someone from them, a representative, assisted me in the process of setting up PRS. So it was kind of quick after that, like that I got started in that sense, in knowing more about the music industry and royalties and things like that, because I never knew. I just thought like, yeah, I just want to make beats, and then if people use it, that's sick.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about money and that yet.
Okay. Have you ever been signed?
Nah.
So are you still independent? Okay. All right. So what would you say is like your biggest hit?
To be fair, I don't even think I've had anything you would describe as a hit. I've had like little neighborhood hits kind of thing where everyone in London might know it, but I ain't had a song where I feel it's just everyone knows it. I've never had that. Like there's been big songs, like Bowie 3 to me is a big song, but it's only a big song for a certain demographic or a certain type of person.
Okay, yeah.
You had to have been there then to really know that song, like, or care about it. If you said Bowie 3 now, majority of people wouldn't care about it. It's not really anything like major in this day and age, so I wouldn't really call that a hit. But to some people, they would say it was a hit. Some people tell me that was a hit.
I feel like it's a hit. Is you did it with someone big at a young age. If you know, you know, and people know. Like people know you. So of your hits. So I feel like, yeah.
I think it's measured differently these days as well. Like a hit now, it's not like then. So there's certain hits, you might have a hit that's on ends, and everyone knows it, back then it wouldn't have charted.
Yeah.
Like, it would not have charted. It would need to be a mazza to chart.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
now, it's much more common for things to chart and that. Not saying that's the only like measurement of whether something's a hit, but it's part of it. I think. Other than Bowie Free, there's maybe I would say Inner the Ghetto with Wretch and Gets, but I would say that more because it still gets brought up now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of survived like that period of time to still be mentioned, where I would say that if it can stand the test of time, then that's like one thing that you'd want.
Yeah.
And that's it's probably just them two that I would say they're the ones that stand out to me the most. All the others, I think they're a little bit more insignificant.
Yeah. Okay. So have you ever felt like you put a song out with someone and then you felt like, oh, I should have do this, or I should have changed this, like to make the song better, like?
I think I must have done. I can't think of an example right now, but I'm sure I must have done. There's been too many beats that I've made for me to not have thought back. Oh, actually, yeah, there's one song that I've got with OFB. It's from like 2018 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's some rap song. I like the song. It's called Every Day. And there's one thing about the beat that I would have changed, but when I tell people, I don't say what it is that I would change, because then they'll just like go and look for it kind of thing, what it is that I would change. But there's one thing that I would change because I feel like I didn't do it right.
Mm-hmm.
But no one's ever come and like said it to me that they think that
complain
something's
or
wrong.
whatever.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's in my mind. But most of the time, to be honest, when I make something, I'll listen back to it, think it's cool. That's it. I just kind of let it go, to be honest.
But you also, I feel like you're so humble that like you don't take like pride on your work, because you did like the sound for commercials like Footlocker, Nike, you know, and you know.
I think that's because it's not that I don't take pride in my work and that. I'm very proud of it, but at the same time, I know that in the real world and in the grand scheme of things, it's not that deep. Like there's bare people doing all sorts of things. Like what I do, it's not any bigger than what another person might be doing. Like there's a lot of people that's doing big things, so I wouldn't get excited about any like kind of small achievement that I might achieve. I'm happy to have achieved it,
Yeah.
but it doesn't make me really like, I don't get carried away, because it's just something. It's something I aim for, but it's not anything more mad than what someone else is doing. And especially the people that I've sort of come up with, the people that I was working with from such a young age, what they was doing, like the money that they saw, the achievements they had, because they were so big. Like look at Tinchey, what he was doing.
Yeah, back then.
He was going #1 and that.
Yeah.
Like he was the like best male artist or something like that in 2009. When you got people around you that's doing mad things like that, your little advert or whatever, it's not that deep. It's cool, but like, get things into perspective sort of thing. There's always more that you can do in it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I think, like just stay grounded. You can always do more in it.
Yeah, I know you. Yeah. But I still feel like, you know, you did your thing and you're still doing your thing.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, I know you've been away for some time, but I wanted to ask you, like, how, like, what song made your comeback? Like,
I don't think there was any particular one song. I think it was more gradual succession of songs. So I had a few songs with our dads. I think that's when I first started to do the rap thing. So I had to kind of learn how to make that genre. I'd never really made rap before. So it took a little bit of practice for me to get to the level that I expect myself to be at, because I'm fussy with things like that.
Yeah.
Like, things need to be of a certain standard. Otherwise, I just won't rock with it.
Yeah.
But I'd say there was a song called What's Gwanin. It come out November 2017. That one, it sort of set me on another path kind of thing. Because it's like, it was different to anything that I'd made before, or to what people who was used to hearing my beats had heard from me before. Because it was sort of like a pain rap kind of vibe. And it's a song that I still rate highly to today. And I made a few songs after that was in that like similar vein. So yeah, I would say that one, because after that, a friend of mine called Harry, he hit me one day after hearing that, and then he got me in the studio to do some work on a project, the same project that I mentioned, the OFB track was on. I forgot the name now, but yeah, when he hit me to come studio to basically work with a couple people. The first song I made was with Nux, T Muller, and SNE. It was called Hold Me Down, Hold You Down. That was another different one. But the only reason that I was even in that mix was because of the song that I done with Our Dads.
Okay.
So that's what I mean about it set me on a different path. And then again, in that same period, I ended up doing a song with Headie called This Week. And again, if it wasn't for the same song, I wouldn't have been in that.
So yeah, so basically like since you started like making like rap, so basically rap made your path, like.
Yeah, because obviously I didn't even know that I could make it, kind of thing. It was more, I liked listening to it and I thought I should try it. So then I tried it. Oh, I can't forget as well, one of my boys, his name's Ollie, he was like a big factor in that, because that's how I even met Ads in the first place, them two boys. And he was getting me into like doing the rap thing. So I said, yeah, I'll try it out, practiced it. And then because of him, that's how I met Ads, and then we got that song done.
So are you open to collaborate with other producers? Like, let's say like the new gen, you know?
I'm kind of the worst for that. I've never really been a collabor, to be honest.
Why?
That's why there's not like songs out there like, oh, me and this guy, me and that guy. I think it's because of the way I came up. I come up like, if you made a beat, you just made it.
Yeah.
It wasn't really the collabing thing. I'm not even anti it. It's just like I'm kind of stuck in my ways a bit.
Yeah, that's
There's
how
a lot
you
of
do.
people are all collabs kind of thing. But yeah, they get it that it's not really been my vibe. But I'm not anti it, and in the future I will do it.
But do you have any like producer like that we know, like for example like DMing you, oh let's collab, you know? And
Yeah, of course.
what
course.
would you say, like?
What, when they ask me to collab?
Yeah.
I just tell them what it is. I told them honestly that it's not really my thing. I don't do that. But they all know anyway, because they don't see me. They don't see Maniac and such made this beat, so they know I'm not like just saying it. I actually don't do that.
So, what you feel more comfortable like to collaborating with artists? Like, for example, you did the both three. So you are more like comfortable, like not comfortable, but like more open to collaborate with artists, let's say on a mixtape or album or whatever, than collaborate with producers.
Yeah, I was, but I'm kind of coming out of that now. I'm a lot less anti than I was before. Like, I was bad for it before. I wouldn't want to make a beat with someone really still. But now I'm a lot more open to it. I don't really mind as much anymore. Not to say that I've done like bare collabs or anything.
Yeah.
But I can feel within myself that I'm more on it than I was before, because I wasn't on it at all before. There's something about it, like that used to like the idea of it used to jar me in the sense that someone can come to me and say, oh yeah, what you did on them pianos for that beat, that was hard, and then I'll know in my mind I never even did it. Like, the other person did it, for example, and I'll be accepting credit for something that I didn't do.
Yeah.
That was like a key reason before why I wasn't ever really on it, but I kind of grown out of that now.
Yeah, I feel like you should, because you know you can learn from other people the same way other people can learn from you. And when it comes to producers, that's how it is, you know. Like you have to collaborate, you know.
Yeah, like sometimes people send me loops and that, but I always struggle to use them because a lot of the time it's the same thing that I can do anyway.
Yeah.
Like, people send me loops. Obviously, they're sending me melodies and that,
Mm-hmm.
but where my strength has generally been melodies,
Oh, okay.
it's a bit tricky for me to use it. Rather than, obviously, there's some producers where drums is their strength, and they're looking for melodies, and then it really works for them because they're on the hunt for loops. That's what they need. But
Yeah.
where it's not really me that has that issue, I find it harder to use their loops than maybe someone else would.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, like, who's your top 3 producers?
You know what, of all time or something?
Yeah, all time. Yeah, all time. Let's say all time.
It's techie still. Probably I'll just say
Like who you look up to, like.
Scott Storch, Timberland, and then it's a toss up between. I'll just say Dre, because it would have been Dre
yeah.
or the Neptunes. I would have said the Neptunes first, but I don't know. There's just
I know
something
it's hard.
Yeah, but it would have been better if it was a top 4. If it was
Alright,
a
go on, top 4.
I'll say that. I'll say Scott Storch, Timberland, Dre, and the Neptunes, because that's what I grew up listening.
Yeah.
Primarily still.
Well, do you like any producer from the UK?
Yeah, of course. There's Bear, man. There's Bear.
Like who?
I'll be here all day. I'll just say, obviously, other than the obvious, I'll rather say someone who I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, someone
So
that
right
you feel
now,
like, yeah.
I feel right now, I feel Fumes. Do you know Fumes on
Yeah.
the beat?
Yeah.
Like, Fumes, for me, is going the hardest.
He's been working hard, you know.
Yeah, he's been working hard. He's been putting in, like, mad work. Like, consistent. When I hear his beats, I know it's going to be hard, kind of thing. That's who I rate right now. The rest is kind of the obvious ones.
Like, but let's say top 3.
I don't think I got a top 3. I would rather go for someone like niche, like I know someone else who I rate highly as well. Call Me the Kid.
I don't know.
I rate Call Me the Kid highly. He works with Hardy Caprio a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's bare beats that my man's made that's just hard, but he's not really spoken about. People, I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's like branding or something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe people want him to work with like more of a variety of people.
Mm-hmm.
But he's very, very, very hard still. Like, if you listen to like EIO, for example, that's got Hardy and One Nation on it. Various Hardy and One Nation songs. I'm sure he made Gucci, Chanel as well. Like, but these are songs some people might not feel them like the way that I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I rate it highly still. Call Me the Kid.
Okay.
So him and Fumes.
And Films.
Yeah.
Shout out to Films, you know.
Yeah, shout out Fumes.
Yeah. Okay. What would you say, like, it differentiates you than other producers?
I wouldn't say there's anything particular, to be honest. I'd say that maybe my melodies, I may have consistently good melodies, maybe more so than some other producers. But other than that, I wouldn't say there's anything particular that stands out about my beats in comparison to someone else's, because I would say I'm kind of versatile. So I don't really have a distinctive sound.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it would be better to ask someone else than me, because when I make beats, it's not even for me anyway.
Yeah.
I just literally make what I like. Then if someone else likes it, that's what it really comes down to. I want people to like what I make.
What you make,
It's not really for me. I just want to like it first, and then if other people like it, yeah, that's hard. But in terms of like it being as having a distinction from other producers, I don't really know. I think someone else would be better to say that, because I would say I got no idea still.
Well, do you play any instruments?
No, I don't even have like a keyboard.
Wow.
So obviously you got some producers, they got their keyboard there, they play around with melodies and whatnot, and then there's some they'll just have the laptop like yours, and then they'll just use that. I just use the keys on the laptop. I'm not playing anything on the keys. I just draw everything in. So where I'm so accustomed to drawing things in, it's never really been something that I've reached for to go and learn an instrument. But if I was gonna, I would learn the guitar, because I feel like that's a useful instrument sort of thing. Like there's a couple producers that I know can play the guitar. Like Mason comes into my mind first. I know he can play the guitar, which is probably useful because you can just get out, bam, play a melody, and then just put drums on it. Yeah, you got it. You didn't even need to like get anyone else involved in the process sort of thing. So I would say I would learn the guitar if I was going to learn anything, or attempt to anyway. But other than that, I've had periods where I've like played on the keyboard or whatever, but I'm not like fluent in it or anything like that.
Yeah. And who would you like to work? Like, what artist would you like to work with? Like, maybe in the future, like, it could be international.
I would say there's various, but I'm kind of, part of me just doesn't really care at the same time, only because I rate a lot of artists, but at the same time, you see the way the dynamics are set with artists and producers, it's kind of like we're underneath them, innit? I don't really like that still. You see, if it was more of an even playing field, I would prefer that. I know that's not really directly to do with your question, but that's what it sparked in my mind. Just the dynamics between rappers and producers. Part of it's not even their fault. Like sometimes you can clock it, like the way that a rapper might talk to a producer. It's kind of like you owe them from the jump, or like they're looking down on you, kind of thing.
But no, because I feel like this is why I wanted like to start doing this podcast, because I feel like I hear what you're saying, but it's not like, I said it before, without beat there's no artist. You know, and like I even said before, nobody would listen to a whole album of lyrics, you know. People would just listen, come on, like without an instrumental there's nothing. So I don't feel like the producer is underneath the artist, but it's more like the exposure, no? Like the producer is like more behind the scenes. So, but I feel like things are changing when it comes to that, because producers right now they starting to feel like, well, okay, like let's say DJ Khaled, he will produce the whole album, and it's DJ Khaled and, you know, any artist. So that way it's not just, you know, the artist. So I feel like things like that needs to happen more. So producers they just not there, you know, like behind, because they actually do the whole work, like to me.
Yeah. More time, I think that will have to do with the strength of the producer at the time.
Yeah.
Whether they're able to command that from the artist. Like more time it will be a swap or something. So the artist A will, instead of the producer selling the beat to the artist for a fee, they'll do a swap. So the artist will get a beat from the producer, and the producer will get a song from the artist or verse or whatever. That's usually how those kind of songs come about. There's the exchange kind of thing.
Yeah.
If not that, then obviously the producer's gonna have to pay the fee or whatever that's required. But generally, you have to be of a certain strength as a producer, brand wise, to make that even make sense. Because if you're not, then the more time the song's gonna fall on deaf ears probably still. Because the strength of artists that you can even command, it's not gonna be a top tier artist probably, which is mainly what the audience is looking for in terms of a release.
Yeah.
So if I look at what J5 did, he had Skepta and Rema on the song. That makes sense. Whereas if it was another producer, they wouldn't be able to get that song for obvious reasons, innit? That's what I mean. So people in general, human nature, they do what makes sense. So if the person feels like it makes sense for them to do, they'll do that. Like, whether that's artist or producer.
Yeah, but I feel like J5, like, for example, like, he knows his worth, and my worth, you know, deserve for me to, you know, I can make a featuring with, you know,
definitely
whoever I want to.
Definitely.
Like, you know what I mean? So I feel like producers needs to, like, know their worth.
Yeah.
Because once you know your worth, it doesn't matter who it is, like, that comes to you. You know your worth. So if you want it, you want it. If you don't want it, next. Like,
yeah, hundreds.
Yeah. So have to be strong on that. Right? So do you have like any like future projects that you want to talk about, like a little bit?
I would just say that the people who I've released with of late, that's mostly who I'm probably gonna have future releases with. So obviously the last thing that's come out that I produced was the KO song.
Yeah.
So I'll work with KO more in the future. Did a few tracks with RV as well. I'll do more songs with RV in the future. And I think before that was our dad's for his project that came out. And again, it's the same thing. Like all them artists I've got a good working relationship with. So they're the kind of artists that I enjoy working with, I get along with, and it feels most comfortable working with. That's why even when you asked that last question about artists I want to work with, me personally, I can't work with people that I feel don't rate me or like respect me kind of thing. That comes kind of before working with the person. Even though it sounds obvious, you should work with people that like your beats as well. Some people like won't really know what I mean by that. Like, it might seem obvious, but you might just be like trying to force it working with someone. I would never say to do that, like trying to force it like mad to work with person A, when really and truly you two's chemistry just might not be it.
Yeah.
So I would just say leave it. Whatever comes like organically, I'd say more go that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel you. I feel like that. If you're an artist and you come to me, you know, you should like my music, like for you to come to me.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah.
Because you know how it goes. You might get people, artists might come to you and say, can you make it like this or like that? But if generally you make beats in a certain way and they've come to you, you would have expected them to be asking you for a beat in the way that you would make it. Thankfully, that doesn't happen to me, but I know that there's people that happens to. For them to be making a beat like such and such, this producer or that producer, which is like, that's just dead. You might as well just go to them. There's no point.
So what works more for you, like to sell the beats to the artist, or to just like work straight like with the artist? Like what do you do more like?
I sell more, to be honest. Mainly because I think the business side of things is key. So obviously working with someone that you like their music, you respect them, they respect you. That's the foundation,
Yeah.
of course. But then you see the business sense, that can't be lacked on, because that's how things can get a little bit like confusing and a little bit twisted. They might think that, oh, because you ain't discussed no business or whatever, then you don't care or something.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
just trying
yeah.
to like run off or something.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously because of that, I would say, yeah, like the business is very important and I would prioritize that. So I do go for selling beats rather than just doing the whole, like work with that guy, work with that guy, work with that guy with no structure. You need to have some sort of structure somewhere. Otherwise you're just kind of moving mad. So yeah, I don't really do that one.
So you know, when it comes to selling beats, how like what's the best way to do it? Like for example, if someone is reaching to you, oh, I want this beat, or what beats do you have? How you deal with it? Like, do you have you send them your own contract, or do you just sell them?
More time we'll have some sort of session. Like it depends on the situation. There's not really a template for that or a set thing that happens every time, but I might shoot them an email with like a little pack or something, different sounds in there. If it's a drill artist, you might send like 3 drill, 1 rap or something, like a little different thing, because some artists, they're tired of getting the genre that they do.
Yeah.
Like they might want a little something different kind of thing, especially if they come to me. There's not really a clear identification what it is they're looking for from me, because I kind of do various genres.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes it might be the email thing. Sometimes it might be they pull up, come to the studio, or go through some beats. However many beats that takes. Sometimes it's 3 beats, sometimes it's 20 to get to that one that they use. They're the 2 main ones, to be honest. Though there's not, unless they're coming to the studio and then I'm making something from scratch. But that it happens, but it's a little bit more rare.
How long does it take you like to do a beat like from scratch, like in the studio, like with the artist, you know?
It can take me like half an hour. Can take me. It depends. It depends how quick I get that first idea. Because with making a beat with the artist there, you're just waiting for that green light kind of thing to whether you should proceed with the idea that you're doing at that time. You might be working on something and then there's not really, the artist ain't really reacting to it. So then you might be like, all right, cool, let me try something else, do something else. They might start writing, or they might start spitting or something, or they might say, oh, change this or change that, like that kind of thing. So going off how they're reacting is key in that situation, because otherwise you might just be there for like 3 hours just doing something, and then all that time they ain't been feeling it. So obviously the artist participation is kind of vital in that sense, but generally I'd say it might take like half an hour or something, and then past that, then it can take however long to get the last bits over the line and that, like, and perfect it.
Okay. And because I always have people asking me, you know, how can they, obviously we all know we need to know, I mean, as a producer you need to know your worth, but how do you know you put in the right price? Or how do you know, like, how much would you, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like what, how much to charge for your beat?
yeah, because maybe you think, I'm a producer and I'll be thinking, wow, this is a banger, you know what I mean? And someone will come, wants the beat, and me, I'm thinking, what? This is, to me is $10, why not?
Yeah, I guess you get your answer with the artist's reaction, innit? Like, if you think that beat's worth 10 bags, it's not really about the beat being worth 10 bags. Like, beats are worth anything. It doesn't really matter about how the beat sounds to do with what it's worth. It's about who made the beat.
Okay.
So whatever your branding is, that's what's going to determine the price of the beat. So if you just started, you can make the hardest beat ever in the world, but it doesn't mean that it's gonna sell for the highest price just because it's the hardest. Like, doesn't even matter. You're better off being the producer with the strongest brand and make the worst beat. That beat will sell for more than that hard beat.
Yeah.
Because obviously the brand is what determines the price. That's for anything. That's not even just beats. That's anything in the world. Like, so because of that, yeah, like the person basically needs to come to their own conclusion and then just see how it goes. So if you say that the beat's worth £10 and then the artist is like biting your hands off kind of thing, you probably price it too low.
Yeah.
And yeah, vice versa.
And you know, if for example, like I sold the beat for £10, let's say, and the artist is making millions of that beat now, how, like, well, depend how I do it, because you know, when you sell the beats, you can sell it like exclusive or non-exclusive, no? So if it's not exclusive and the person and the artist is doing numbers with that beat, can I still claim?
See, that one's all leasy. That one's to do with like all leasing and that. That's not really my lane. I don't even do the type beat thing. So to have beats on like my beat stars or something like that, I'm not accustomed to that. So I'm not even the man to ask that. What I would say from what I know is the artist goes onto your beat stars, they pick a beat. The beat has a price of £100. They pay that £100 for the lease. The lease comes with a contract. The contract says what you can do and what you can't do. It might give you stream limits or whatever. If you're under the stream limit, then you ain't in breach of that lease. So that person doesn't need to run you nothing more. If you've gone past that, then according to what the producer and his contract says, you need to get a new lease. So that new lease might be, I don't know what it could be, like unlimited lease or something like that, or exclusive that you might need to get. When you get that, it will have different terms and a different price. Technically, I think that's how it's meant to go.
Okay.
But obviously, that's the luck of the draw, innit? If you're doing beats on BeatStars, you can't really control who's getting the beat. So it's just up to fate what happens with it. 9 times out of 10, someone will use the beat and it won't do that. But then that one time it might. It's not that artist's fault. Like, they ain't done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
They just followed the rules, innit? They went on your site and they bought the beat. That's it.
Yeah, because that's how I feel. Like, I feel like there's millions of producers out there. They put their beats out there, BeatStars, SoundCloud, all of that, and I don't know. They selling the beats £20, you know, 25, and there's no. That's it. You know what I mean? So I feel like you said. So it's more like focus on your branding and yeah, focus on your branding and know, I don't know more about the music business side and create your own brand.
Yeah, the branding is key still, because that's what lets you get away with charging certain prices. If your brand is like just average and you try and charge a mad price, then you're not going to get any sales, because they're going to look at you and they're going to look at the price of the beat and they're going to think, this ain't adding up. Like, why do I have to pay this when you're not even that strong as a producer? But if you're strong as a producer and the artist can see that and they already know what your value is that you're bringing, they're much more welcoming to the price that it is that you're trying to charge. Otherwise, they're more going to be left confused. So.
Wow, it's deep, you know. The music industry is deep. It's not just, you know, make beats and sell beats, you know. I'm learning, you know. With every guest that comes, I'm learning, and I'm still learning, and yeah. So I want to know, like, are you active? Like, where do you promote your beats?
I don't. I don't promote my beats though.
So how?
I don't. Any work that I get is literally of songs that come out. I don't promote my beats. I don't have like a beat stars. I don't put beats on the YouTube channel. I don't put beats on my Insta. Every now and then I put them on my Insta story, what I'm making at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, nah, I don't. I won't just put like a show reel of my beats on my gram or something like that. Same as my Twitter. Every now and then, very rarely though, I might put a clip of a beat up. But past that, nah, I don't even promote my beats still.
So basically, you go off your brand, your name.
Basically, yeah. It's either that obviously it's different strokes for different folks and that. Some people that works for them. That's good still. But you see, for me, my nature has always been like, and my personality has been, he's with me, is with me. He's not, isn't, and I'm calm either way. So it's kind of it's the same with my beats. Like, people hear my beats. Some people vocal my beats. They release it. More people hear my beats.
Mm-hmm.
I work with some of those people, and then the process repeats. I might work with more people if I put more beats like online or whatever and showcase them, but I don't really care to.
Okay.
So because I don't care to, I'm calm. I'm not in a real rush or hurry, or don't really have a need to like apply that sort of pressure. Like, because even in making beats, I make beats when I feel to, when I'm inspired to, when I've got the time, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's kind of like that across the board.
Wow.
And it depends what mood I'm in as well, like, as to whether if I'm making a beat, whether I put it on my story or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So, so basically, if an artist was to work with you, they just contact you. You're not out there like sending your beats to artists or to the manager. So
No, not really. I'm kind of outside the market. I'm not really in the mix like that. I wouldn't say still. I'm kind of outside the market. So people, if they need to find me, they know where I am. But I'm not gonna be like up and down, like zigzagging around, like trying to get work done. Like, it's not really what I'm gonna do still. Like,
sorry. Yeah.
I'm not really gonna do that still. People know if they wanna talk business or whatever, then I'm kind of easily found. But I'm definitely not doing the whole like running around trying to shop my beats and all that. Like, because I feel like my beats are quality, and you know what it is with me. Not to brag or anything, but I aim to like always maintain that quality. So the whole like running around trying to just like get my beats off, it's not really for me. But obviously I've got a certain network that I might show beats to if I feel that it matches them or it suits them.
Mm-hmm.
But past that, like, I'm not really blind emailing people and all that, like, or just like hitting various people to try and get work done. Like, it's not impossible, but it's not something that I tend to do at all still.
There's anyone, like, there's any producer in the UK that you feel like it reminds you of you? Like that you feel like, right, this guy is, or this female is killing it, like.
Maybe, but I can't think of anyone right now. But I think a lot of that has to do with me not having that distinctive sound. There's some people their sound is just like, you know what it is. As soon as you hear them, as soon as you hear a beat, then you know that it's them that made it. Like Carnes Hill, for example. If you hear a Carnes Hill beat, you know that Carnes Hill made it because his sound is unique.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't really feel like I've got a unique sound. Yeah, no, I don't feel like I've got a unique sound still. So because of that, I can't pick out someone that reminds me of me, because if I was able to, it'd just be like a song that sounds like what anyone could make. It, like, I feel like I make a good standard of beat, but anyone could have made it as well at the same time. It's not just me that could have made it personally. So I can't really pick someone out. There's just people from my local area. Like there's a producer called M40 from my area that's making beats right now. There's a producer called Breezy that's making beats right now. Johnny as well. Like shout all of them out because I hope I've inspired them in some way to like go down that path. But even then, none of them make beats like I do anyway. And Wiley as well. Yeah, none of them make beats like I do. So, yeah, no, I wouldn't say anyone.
Are you?
But sorry, there are various people that come to me and say that I did influence them. But in their music, I don't hear that. But they say to me that I influenced them.
Yeah, I feel like, someone has to inspire you to, to do things. Like, so, yeah, wow. Okay. This, I want to ask you, like, what would you say to upcoming producers when it comes to, like to get out there with their beats to, no.
Yeah, no, that's calm. That's calm still.
I'm done. What would you say to upcoming producers? Like, what advice would you give them, like, about the music industry, business-wise?
The first thing I would say is get good. Or to get to a standard where you think, yeah, like my beats can stand up against other people's. Like, if it was to just come on one extra, your beat could stand up alongside other beats. That's the first thing that I would say. The second thing I would say is to work on your brand. So probably the best way is to have a tag. That's the first thing, because it's your only real way to have a voice on the song. You don't know if the artist is going to credit you in another way, so you better just credit yourself. Put your tag there, then you're sort of patterned in that department. So work on your brand. That starts with the tag maybe, and then try and enhance your profile in whatever way you can as a producer. Get your respect up in that. If it matches your personality, get out there in other ways, like network, trying to hit different people. I wouldn't particularly do that. It doesn't match my personality, but if it matches yours, do that. Like, hit different people, have conversations, try and get yourself out there, and work with different artists and that. And send beats out to artists that you rate, probably, yeah. Like, if there's something that you think matches someone's sound, get the beat to them, see if they rock with it, because you never know. Like, you might have 10 emails, and then one of them that you sent, that's the one that turns into something. So ultimately, it's worth it, because you won't really lose much if you don't.
I would say, like, be realistic with, like, when selling beats. Like, if you're starting as a upcoming producer, like, be realistic with the prices. Like, don't, like, keep it grounded, and you know, it's not always about money.
Yeah, don't try and charge 10
Yeah.
grand.
Yeah. So, okay, we got to the end of the interview. Thanks for everybody that is watching. Thanks for Maniac to come and support the
Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon in the next one.